I think we're going to finish it out. I think we're going to try our absolute hardest to load into Finland and show that when we get it right and we don't flub up the first half of the season, I was always in contention.
One time for the beat.
Hello everyone, CD Racing here, and welcome in for the season finale of our Dirt Rally 2 Rally Career Mode playthrough. Now, as you saw from the intro, quite a few high-flying moments to tackle and go over in this one, but how will we handle the end of this ever so eventful season? Well, we're not going to find out sitting here. Let's load into Finland. Alright, Finland. You will not catch me trying to attempt to pronounce any of the stages this weekend, but I can tell you about the rally itself, and let me tell you, it's a doozy. These preview images that you're going to see on screen right now do not do it justice, except maybe this one. You are in a very dense forest for most of this rally, but what these preview images are not showing you are the ludicrous amounts of jumps and sudden drop-offs that you will find yourself tackling in these stages, combined with the fact that you don't really turn much in Finland. If I'm being completely honest, I think about 75% of the calls are a 4 or wider. It's a very relatively straight, high-speed rally, and the only thing that adds that level of ludicrous difficulty is the fact that your wheels are going to be off the ground a lot, and I mean a lot. And in the background, you'll see me messing with some of my tuning. I did make a preset tune for the car before we loaded in this weekend. I wanted this weekend to go as well as possible. How does it go in practice? Let's find out right now. Loading it for the shakedown. Let's see how we tackle Finland and all of its endless wonders. Launching the car as the lights go down. We're going to let it out soft for most of these stages. It is in the gravel, and we shortened up first and second quite a bit to warrant stretching out 4th, 5th, and 6th, because those are the gears that we are going to spend most of this rally in. And as you can see already at the top of 6th, stretched out 6th, or the final drive in the beginning, and you'll notice we're already topping out around 116, throwing it in early for that 3 left over crest, into dip, into 4 right over 6, dodging wildlife, running across the track. Crest over 50 once again, going towards the top of 6th gear here, just watching it over these blind crest, dead car on the right-hand side. Another blind crest, wheels leaving the track surface pretty much constantly. I don't think you ever really have a full stable car at any point in this rally, because look at the speed we're carrying over these jumps. Not necessarily massive dips, but just the instability of the car is mind-blowing. And then once again, get it slowed down for that blind crest over the finish line. And I hope y'all are ready, because that was by far the calmest and most rational stage that you are going to see over the course of this weekend. So, loading in for stage 1, luckily no repairs to make after the first shakedown, which is rare. And we'll look at the weekend as a whole. Not many elevation changes at all. You see 13 feet, 45 feet, 62 feet over the course of the entire stage. So the drops are sudden. It's not like you're climbing a mountain and then jumping off of it. It's just hill after hill after hill. Some of these stages are long, almost 10 miles, which is pretty ridiculous. But if I'm being completely honest, the speed at which you tackle most of Finland, most of these stages are not going to be more than 7.5, 8 minutes, because you are reaching the limiter of 6th gear the entire time. But enough yapping, let's get to driving. Stage 1, season finale. Let's see how we do when the pressure's on.
Starts flat left 80, flat crest into 6 right long, tightens 5 over crest. Good luck.
All right, stage 1. We've been here before in the shakedown, but let's see how we do over the course of the entire stage. Finicky in Finland, let's hope it's not so. Launching the car hard in the dirt as per usual, and like I said briefly in the shakedown, the first 3 gears very short this weekend because I don't really intend on using them. As you can see already at the top of 6th gear, throwing it into these corners, and we have done this section before in the shakedown, so let's really quickly talk about the game plan here in Finland as far as what you should do when you show up here, because the series is career mode / informational. So the first biggest thing that I would say in Finland, you've noticed already how many times the wheels have left the ground when you are here. You need to ensure at all costs that you do not make any adjustments right before a jump. And in Finland specifically, that is easier said than done because of the rate at which your wheels are going to be leaving the ground. But if you try your absolute hardest to make sure that whatever angle your steering wheel is at before you leave that jump, it needs to be consistent because, believe it or not, you cannot steer a vehicle in midair. Whatever angle you leave the crest of the jump at is the angle that you are going to be flying through the air, and that factors into the nature of the calls. You know, don't send it over a 4 left at the angle of a 6 left, or you're going to smack a tree, and no one needs that. So keep that in mind when you're here. You see, as I go over these jumps, I'm trying my best to keep it consistent. I won't say that I'm perfect at it. Excellent timing there as we go way too wide over that one. And that'll bring us into our second hint. You need to, when you have the ability to, throw it into these corners, specifically for front-wheel drive, but across the board. When you're in these really high-speed rallies, especially in the dirt, you have to have the faith in the car to send it into these corners. Your initial turn and angle will determine your speed throughout the course of the stage, because if you have to slow down and then go fast out, kind of more akin to track racing, it's more consistent, it's a lot easier, but you are not going to keep up, especially the level of competition we're dealing with at the moment. You know, hardest difficulty in the game. It's a lot. You see, I had one little minor mishap, didn't even roll the car, just kind of got a little chuckle and went off the stage for a couple seconds, and we are already quite a bit down from the stage leader. So, wrapping it up, make sure that your angles over the jumps are as predictable as possible, and when you come into these really high-speed corners, try your best to just throw it in as often as possible, and you'll do okay. As we've learned over the course of this series, just finishing a stage is cause for celebration when you really have the pace up there. But as we lock back in for a little bit less in the second half of this stage, we've done okay. You know, besides that little mishap earlier in the stage and the massive crack in the windshield, we have kept pretty good pace. We'll keep up with the calls for the last sector here. 4 left into dip, 70. Watch your speed into the dip. It's going to open up 70 in a straight line. 6 right, 100 into 5 right. Top of 6th gear here for these very wide calls. We've got a crest into 6 left. We'll see how we tackle this. He's going to be slowing down a lot for that 5 right. Here's the crest that we saw into a secondary crest, into 6 left, into 6 right wrong. Catch it, flick it back immediately. And yes, a lot of faith in the calls in these speeds, and especially when you're landing sideways and just having faith in the front-wheel drive ability to flick it back to the other direction. You're going to see or hear my foot is pinned to the floor for most of this rally. I am just whipping the shit out of this little car, using the front wheels to force the front of the car to be facing the direction I want it to be and hoping that it sticks. Keyword on hoping, because you see right there, sometimes under braking coming into these corners, I move the brake bias a little more towards the rear of the car, and we still have quite a few instances of lockups, watching the front of the car just shoot to the direction that we're steering and then having to direct accordingly. So it's going to be wild. It looks like the car's already taken some battle scars. 4th place over the first stage. Not terrible, given how some of this season has gone. We'll see if we can keep that pace. And McCain continues to put up ludicrous times. And at this point, I don't know if we're going to compete with that. At least maybe this car. Maybe the real problem is that I am just not the front-wheel drive guru that I think I am. But loading into stage 2, still not going to catch me trying to pronounce whatever the hell that is. We'll see if we can tackle it well. Car's already looking rough.
Starts 100 through dip and flat right over crest, 80, 4 left over crest and jump.
Yeah, my short-term memory is not going to keep that one in the noggin until we go. So we'll see how we tackle the stage in the beginning. Launching the car, very low revs, soft on the entry, getting it into 3rd gear as quickly as possible, and now it is just a straight shot through the stage, we'll see how we handle this one. Forward left over crest into jump, and you'll notice that even though it's a forward left, I stay in 6th gear on the inside, send it basically full throttle. A lot of these jumps are so wide. You'll notice the width of the stage here in Finland. It's not like a lot of the other places that we visit. You basically have 2.5 car lengths or car widths of stage available to you. So some of these corners that you'd usually tackle a little bit more cautiously, like a forward left over jump, it doesn't really track. If you can go at it and as straight of an angle as possible and keep your foot pinned, you can just soar over some of these jumps. Just right there, I think that was a solid 1.5 seconds of air time that we got right there. And now slowing it down for the square right, getting in there, grab some handbrake, get that rear end, swung around, and power out as soon as possible. Not the worst execution in the low speed, if I could toot my own horn. And that's a green first sector, so it looks like we are already feeling a decent rhythm here in Finland. Crest over 50 into 6 left over 80. Watch the awkward landing, keeping it pinned. I'm probably not going to keep up with calls that much this weekend because I'll spoil it now. It's probably a 5 or a 6 with a jump in between. And that's the entirety of Finland as once again catching massive air. I'm going to sound like a broken record every time I point out a massive jump, but they are all over the place here. You watch our angle now over these blind crests. Again, watch your angle. Keep the car as straight as possible. If you don't really understand rally calls at this point in the career, I have made a guide video, not to, plug myself, but once you really understand these calls and how you're supposed to approach them, you can visualize them as you approach. And knowing what I know in Finland and how ridiculously wide the stage is, you can just send it 99% of the time. And then very, very rarely, in instances like that where you have a 6 closes into a 3, hit the brakes a little bit, make sure you get the car turned in, and then go out. But right back into it, flying over these high-speed jumps. I think later into this rally, I stretch out 6th gear because we're tapping out right now around what, like 116, 117. It's weird to complain about going that fast on a dirt road. Maybe we don't need to go faster. Once again, closing down into a 3 right, came in way too quick. Let's see if we do this one right. 50, it's a 3 left, tightens, so on the brakes, watch your entrance. You know it's going to tighten midway and then power out as soon as that stage opens up for you. That was a little bit better executed, maybe a little slower than it had to be. So that is something I could also tell y'all to watch out for in Finland. It is a very quick, high-flying rally, but, every now and then you do have to slow down just a little bit and keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. I need to keep my eyes open for rocks on the inside of the stage. That's what happened right there. Clip that rock on the inside of the stage, you lose your momentum, it forces the car out wide, and you steer off. That's what happens. But for instances like this where 3 right comes, keep an ear out for it. They're going to show up every now and then. You do still have a brake pedal in Finland, and you do have to use it unless you want to have pretty mid stages like this one was. Not the best showing for us on this one. A couple different offings in some sketchy places, and as we wrap it up, we'll see how our pace goes compared to the rest of the stage. And right at the end, catching it off wide, still haven't technically finished. This is all lost time. And that goes back to what I talked about earlier, making sure your angles over the jump are good. And that is 6.7 seconds down. I'm not going to say it. I know some of you fools are thinking it. I'm not going to say it. And yes, that was me giving quite a few blips of the throttle in anger, because that 6.7 seconds that we lost by probably could have been like 2.5 if we didn't shunt it right at the end of the stage there. So we'll see where we actually finished in regards to everyone else. 18th. Oh my God. The margins here are ridiculous. S Petit with a 322. I don't even know how these guys are doing this at this point. We're already down on our luck going into the first service station. And let's just hope that we can get back on track. Stage 3, we're going to be able to fix the car here for a little bit. Another stage I won't try to pronounce, 9.35 miles, 45 feet of elevation. Do not be fooled. We're going to be jumping quite a bit here. Now, the car looks terrible. A little bit of radiator damage, bodywork damage through the roof, wheel geometry, and lights. But that's it. 12 grand is going to hurt a little bit, but the car is fresh, brand new, ready to go for stage 3 and 4, and we've got back-to-back long ones. So we are going to get off the soft tires. Medium tires are a necessity here, and they honestly might even be too little. Almost 20 miles of stage. Let's see how we tackle this. If we can keep it out of the bushes the entire stage, let's see if we can go top 3 here. If we can finish top 3, I'll be happy here. As the lights go down, hold the revs. A little bit halfway through the range, launching hard, and you guys know at this point, all the way up into 4th gear, and this is where we're going to stay above for the rest of the stage. 4 left tightens. Watch your entry here. Again, I mentioned it a couple times in the first stages. I'll say it one more time. The stages here are very wide. If it's a 4, maybe even a 3 opens, you do not have to slow down that much. You just have to make sure you get your turn and angle correct, because as you saw right there, I waited until about halfway through that corner to realistically throw that car in, and you saw me just drift out wide. You have to throw it in these corners. Specifically for the front-wheel drive, it's going to be rough going into a lot of these. 3 right over crest opens. Watch your entrance here into 80. Just watch it for you as you come in, and then it opens up for you, just like the call said, and we'll get through that relatively okay. Pace through the first split. Going to showcase how we're looking like throughout this stage. Anything can change, but we'll see how our pace is looking at the end of 1. As we cross the line here in a couple seconds, only 2... Actually, already 2 seconds down on this stage. I guess us messing up that one corner lost us quite a bit of time. In 7th place as far as the timings go. We're going to hope that we can do significantly better than that. Going over these high-speed sections, cutting the stage in half, just cutting right through the middle of those S's and keeping the throttle pinned when we need to. That is something I've definitely gotten used to towards the end of this career mode season. This front-wheel drive vehicle, if you just keep the throttle pinned and countersteer, it'll fix like 90% of your oversteering issues, which is useful when you have to just absolutely yeet the car into every corner. Once again, when you try the calm return in and just let off the gas and kind of ease into these corners, I really think you're going too fast in Finland to afford to do that. You have to throw the car in over these corners or these jumps. Just pray. Look at this angle that we're having over here. 2.9 seconds now, so haven't lost as much section or speed in this section. Watch 5 left into 40. Keep it pinned the entire time. 5 right open over crest. Make sure that you got your angle right over the crest in the braking zone. My God, there's so much to keep track of here. The speed is ridiculous. We'll try and catch back up here. 4 right 30. Watch your speed here. You're just going to let this go for you. 4 left long opens over jump, so we're going to keep it pinned. Let the stage open back up and understeer. A little bit of a problem there. What have I said already? So many times this stage, throw the car in. Every single time that I don't, you're going to see me have sketchy moments right there. Trusted the call, threw it in blind over that, and luckily did not hit the guardrails on the bridge. Coming up to the 3rd section now, we'll see if we are still down. I would assume like 3.5 seconds at this point if our pace is consistent with what it's been so far. Managing these high-speed long corners to the best of our ability, and the timing is down. Now back to over just 2 seconds flat compared to the AI over jump. We've got a very rapid section here. We'll see how we handle it. 6 right over jump 80 into 6 right opens 50. Just watching your angle over these corners consecutively over the jumps into the big jump. Yeah, that's a lot of airtime. Back-to-back massive jumps. Springs are feeling it. Our back is too. But on the left-hand side of your screen, that's a green sector. We have made time back on the CPU. So maybe in the ridiculously high-speed sections, because here in Finland, you've either got high speed or ridiculously high speed. And here in the ridiculously high-speed sections, it would appear that we've got it over the AI. We'll see if we can confirm that in back-to-back sections, jumping over that blind corner right there, trusting in the calls. And yes, 0.7 second gap to the person in front, managing to catch that sketchy landing. That goes back to the first part, boys. And what did I say? Make sure you've got your angle set up anytime your wheels are going to leave the track surface. I know it's easier said than done with how many times you jump here in Finland, but man, one wrong angle on landing and a steering wheel adjustment mid-jump, and you are going to be all over the place when you land. Into this closing down section, we'll catch our breath for a second. 3 left into 120 over jump. We're going to get that speed back, soar over that hill. 120 in the landing zone, we know we're fine. Into 4 right, closes. Watch your braking zones here. Closes means ideally should have gone for a later apex to let the stage open back up to me. And when I clip that rock on the inside, that's just me fighting for a racing line that could have been a little bit better. We're always going to talk about how we can optimize these runs. We will, in theory, min-max every single run. Now, if you've been watching this channel for more than an episode, you know that in practice, that does not happen. But a little longer than midway through a longer stage, and there's our first major mistake of the stage, I'll say. Contact with the outside wall after coming in too quickly to those low-speed corners. I've said you can throw it in for a lot of these corners, but you do have to pay attention. The 3 lefts, the 3 right tightens, maybe even the occasional 2. They do exist here, and you have to slow down. The brake pedal will always be the most important tool to going fast, and I know that sounds kind of weird, but you'll see it happen time and time again. When I understeer into these corners, you're getting a little nervous. into these landing zones. It's never 100% predictable, but yes, into these slower corners right here, 50 into 3 left. Watch your speed power out accordingly. Could have slowed down a little bit more there to make that exit more predictable, but I digress. We are min-maxing in theory, almost at the end of this long stage here. Consecutive 6s into 150, and somewhere in those sections, I would assume the collision with the wall did not help. We are now 3.3 seconds down on the stage leader, so not terrible, but it could be a lot better. We'll see how we finish at the end. Into a little bit of a more open section with a couple of blind corners. 6 left over crest into 50, just trusting the calls. 4 right over dip. I'm going to hit the brakes before this one. Make sure we've got that angle correct, and we can go ahead and navigate that. Okay, you know, I almost made it through an entire stage without some sort of terrible grammatical mess up. But right at the end, we lose it. 6 right over jump, into another jump over 50, into 5 right long, into 5 left. So 5 right long is something to keep in mind. You're going to ride that angle out a little bit more. Flick it in for the 5 left, 30 into square left. Hard braking in a straight line, and we've locked up those fronts for a couple seconds. Grab some handbrake and power out. Clockwork front-wheel drive, low-speed stuff. Nothing to really talk about there. Into 6 left, 80. And we'll go ahead and drop the calls for the rest of the stage and just say that was not terrible. You know, we obviously kept decent speed throughout the stage. I'm sure our average speed was about 95 miles an hour, as you see right now, just upwards of 100 throughout this section. It kind of fluctuates when we take off, but I would say our true land speed for this entire section is about 95, 100 miles an hour, which is ridiculous because we kept this up for most of the stage. So yes, we're probably going to lose to the AI here by a couple seconds. That's to be expected this season. These guys are setting world records every run, but how well did we keep up? How are our odds looking here in Finland? As we see the finish line boards, get ready to catch your breath. One more corner over the finish line, and 5.4 over an almost 10-mile stage. We'll take that. It says second place. We know that's not true, but we'll see where we actually finish in regards to everyone right now. As these end stage sequences in Finland are pretty long. I guess they expect you to come in here pretty quick. But doesn't the car look better than it usually does when we finish these stages? We usually get to the end and it looks terrible. But 4th place, we were looking for a podium in the stage. 4th place is nothing to cry about. And we're going to see if we can keep it rocking, because despite some of the last rallies where our finishing positions fluctuated quite a bit, loading into stage 4, we've actually had pretty good results. For something as chaotic as Finland, it seems like things, for the most part, have been going well. There's no way that that just happened again. Well, turns out that is what happened again. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason why this episode took so long to come out. How for a couple episodes before this, the delays were a little school-related, but mostly technical issues. I had PC crashing issues. Well, throughout the recording of this video, it got much worse. And instead of being the proactive cybersecurity student that I should have, I ignored it and tried to thug it out through the crashes, and was only able to edit this video at about maybe 2 to 3 minutes at a time before the PC would crash again. And I finally, as of last week, yanked out one of my RAM sticks, swapped their positions with only putting one back into the motherboard for those who were more technically inclined. Long story short, I fixed the issue. You know, good side, I know what the problem was. Bad side, one of my RAM sticks failed completely, and I'm going to be out like $150 in order to replace it. So, not ideal, but my PC works as it should now. The semester, as of today, is essentially over for me. I took my last exam about an hour and a half ago, and we are back. I am very sorry for the delay. I know a month in between uploads is very much so unlike this channel, but I'm going to hope that as of now, that's not going to be as common of a thing. We have wrapped up Season 1 of our Dirt Rally 2 career mode unwillingly. And I say that because when we crashed the first time and I loaded back up into the career mode, this is what I saw. Wait a minute, stage 5? What happened to 4? Oh my god, hold on. What are we doing here? What we were doing there is getting glitched because the game crashed when we were loading into a stage. So you see, I loaded it up one more time to confirm, and once again met with stage 5, a name I won't pronounce, and a car that looks messed up. So this damage, I don't think, was from the stage, or stage 3. I mean, I know we had a couple brush-ins, but that looks pretty bad. And at this point, I was very confused. So I thought, surely reloading it again will change things. Let's see if that works. Loading it for the 3rd time, and we're still on the 5th stage. So it was around this moment where I realized, darn, we got by a bad RAM stick, and the game glitched out in a way I've never seen before, and not only skipped an entire stage, but when I said, all right, let's just roll with it, I guess, we'll fix the car, see where we stand, and continue business as usual, right? You know, if it's broken, it's broken. But before I bought the repairs, I thought, wait a minute, where are we standing? 27th. I guess by skipping the stage, the game loaded that as me retiring or taking the easy way out or quitting on a stage. And we are now 22 minutes behind the last running vehicle, meaning we lost. There's no way to come back from that. Talk about the most upsetting, anticlimactic end to a season I think I've had on this channel, because I knew I wasn't going to win it, but dropping all the way down to 6th place, not what I wanted. $679,000 definitely gets rid of that frown pretty quick. But that is the end of our first attempt of the Masters difficulty. You think I'm going to stop after that? Absolutely not. So, before we go, let's talk, because the roadmap is looking up. If you ask me, the career mode is finished for now. Episodes will be coming back quickly. I'm going to pump out one big video that I've been talking about, if you guys have been paying attention. It's called The History of Rally. And because you guys are probably some of the more loyal viewers, and as an apology for being gone for so long, I have had the intro to that video finished for quite a while, and the video is getting closer to being wrapped up every day, especially now that school and the career mode is temporarily wrapped up. It's the only video I have to work on. It's coming very soon. So at the end of this video, I'm going to showcase to you the intro for our next big project. I'm thinking it's better than our rally calls video and our advanced rally driving techniques video, my 2 other kind of general interest videos on this channel. So I'm very excited to be bringing those to y'all. I put a lot of work into this one specifically, and I'm hoping y'all like it. Career mode videos are going to come back, and my summer schedule is okay. I'm taking 1 summer class, and I'm studying for CompTIA certifications, if you know what those are. But if those are the only 2 things I have to do besides working every now and then on my job, I've got enough free time to rock with the career mode videos on a schedule of around once a month, focus on some more general interest videos when I can. But I had a thought, because I don't just want to be dropping 1 career mode video a month as the only form of entertainment on this channel. And one of the reasons that those can take a lot longer to put together is the fact that I have to move my simulator, set it up, record the video, move the simulator back, store it away, and then go through the process of editing, which may not sound like a lot, but my room's a little small, my simulator folds, and unless I want to jump into my bed, I have to fold it up. So, to save time, if you guys are down, I have been putting a little bit of free time into, non-sim racing games, and I've been having a lot of fun playing older titles. So, I have a proposition. If you guys want more frequent uploads, maybe a little bit less serious and sim racy and more just racing content with your boy messing around, let me know how you feel about continuing the Midnight Club videos or starting a series on one of these games, Test Drive Eve Destruction, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, or a much longer, just easy to pump out playthrough of something like Gran Turismo 3, all on a PlayStation 2 emulator, all upscared to 4K like I've done in the past, as something more easier, lighthearted, and it's a lot easier to boot up an emulator, grab a controller, and race for 30-40 minutes, and put together a voiceover on that video. So if you guys want more frequent uploads, something a little bit more lighthearted, maybe more focused on humor and just messing around, having a good time, I can drop those videos a lot more frequently. And whichever one of those games in particular tickles your fancy, feel free to let me know in the comments. I know you guys that are still watching are the ones that comment anyways. But for now, thank you so much for staying throughout this entire career mode playthrough. I had a lot of fun in the Masters difficulty, despite some of our shortcomings and the dramatic ending. But we have made it to the end. We have learned a lot of lessons, and I stand ready to tackle Season 2, because I have a feeling if we got 6th place with as many mishaps as we had the first attempt, ooh, I feel sorry for the competition in Take 2. But for now, I think y'all have heard that music building up. let's see what we get to look forward to in the intro to the entire history of rally video.